So my name is Noreen and I'm volunteering with the hospice I think about 4 years, and I work on the front desk at the moment on reception. So I greet and meet patients and visitors, staff, everybody that comes through the door of the hospice. And I did work on the ambulance for a while, so we picked up patients for the day centre, and that was lovely too, because I got involved with patients coming to the day centre who wouldn't be very ill at the time, and that was good. But I do like the desk as well. When I worked with the ambulance going out to pick up patients for the day centre, again there was a lovely atmosphere on the ambulance. The guy that drives the ambulance was a lovely man, and he would put on music that they liked. He'd have a CD of country and western music or whatever the patients liked, and we could have a little bit of a sing-song on the ambulance when we were coming in. Or they would be telling you stories about their life and about their families, and they like to reminisce. And so there was always good fun on that bus as well. It wasn't always doom and gloom. And they would come into the centre, and then when we'd come back to pick them up, they would have got their hair done and their nails polished, and they would have had a lovely dinner and a glass of wine or a glass of whiskey or a stout or whatever. So yeah, that was a lovely experience as well. It was really, these people were quite ill, but they were still very upbeat and, enjoying every day that we picked them up on the ambulance. It was lovely.
What made you decide to become a volunteer?
Well, I had a friend. She was my best friend. She lived on the road beside me, and our daughters were great friends. And I had a 25th wedding anniversary coming up, and we decided we were going to donate the money to the hospice. And on the day I was coming up here to bring the money up, I asked her would she come up with me, and she did. And we came to the door and we went, wow, this is the hospice. And the lady came down and she said to us that she would give us a tour of the hospice. So we went around and we were going, wow, this is just magic here. There was a lovely room to do art, and there was a jacuzzi bath, and you could come and have your hair done. It was just a lovely feeling about the whole place. And my friend said to me, this must be a lovely place to die in. And she said, when my father died, he was laid out at home in my home place. And every time I go back home, I just see my father in the sitting room laid out in this coffin. And I just think, this place would be just lovely. It just has a lovely feeling about it. I think it would be lovely to die here. Well, little did I know, but my friend was diagnosed with a brain tumour. And the diagnosis wasn't good, and when she became very ill, her husband said, he was going to have her at home, even though she was attending here as a day patient, and that he would bring her home to die at home. And I said, no, actually we did have a conversation about this the day we went to the hospice. And so she came in, and I think on a Wednesday for a respite, but she was quite ill, and she died a couple of days later here in the hospice. So she got her wish, but her husband also took her home then as well to have her at home. So it worked out lovely. So I suppose that probably made me think, yes, I would like to work with the hospice. They were so good to my friend, and it made things very easy for the family.
What do you get out of being a volunteer?
What do I get out of it? Well, maybe you come in and you think you have problems, and they're silly problems really, because, there are so many people here that are at the end of their life, and your problems just fade into the background. And I think even if you just meet somebody at the desk and they tell you a sad story about a parent dying here, or a brother or sister, and maybe you made them smile with something or other that you said, I think that's a good feeling. It doesn't sound much, but you walk out saying, yeah, I helped somebody today. Or you might listen to somebody on the phone that I'll ring in with a problem or whatever.
Was there anything that surprised you being a volunteer in the hospice?
Yes. One day I was on the desk and this lady came in and she was asking me something, and I found it very hard to understand what she was saying to me, and I was getting all kind of upset about the whole thing because I didn't want her to get upset because I didn't understand what she was saying. And my colleague, who's Maria and who's full-time staff on the desk and very experienced, happened to be on the phone at the time, but she just came off the phone and I explained the situation to her and she said, oh, we'll get the lady to write it down. And I was, oh gosh, I hadn't thought of that. And so the lady wrote down what she was wanting, and I was so grateful to Maria, but that's Maria's experience of being on the desk. So that was a bit upsetting for me, but then it worked out very well. As it so happened, she did have somebody with her, and that lady also had come in, so it would have worked out that I would have found out what the lady wanted, but I just thought Maria handled the situation extremely well. So I've learned, ask questions to the more experienced staff as well.
Is there anything that you felt that you couldn't handle?
No, it was really just that one day. Other than that, I think I've pretty much handled everybody else that has come through. But that was a little bit scary that day, and it was a little bit distressing for me because I really didn't know what to do. But yeah, it worked out fine.
And how do you find dealing with the different families that might come in, being upset, maybe their loved ones here, or even coming in and for donations or whatever? How does that experience work?
Yeah, sometimes they come in and they want to donate, and particularly around Christmas time. So they're going to donate money, and then suddenly they'll just get very upset, and they'll start to say, oh, my mum died in here, or my sister, or my brother or father, whatever. And so they just pour out the story to you. And I listen to them, and then maybe at the end of it I'll say something and I'll get a smile out of them, and we end up smiling or laughing or whatever. So the story, yeah, it's lovely. It's just lovely.
And what's the atmosphere here like with the staff and the people that you work with?
Oh, the atmosphere is lovely. It's not all doom and gloom at all. I have made wonderful friends with the staff since I've come here. They're all just lovely. It took me a while to get to know everybody, but now I actually socialise with them. They're younger than me. I'm nearly an OAP, and a lot of the girls are much younger than me, but we meet for coffee, and we have a Christmas party here, which is wonderful. They give a lovely party for the volunteers. There's a gorgeous meal, and they have music, and we dance, and we get to know some of the other volunteers. Because I'm on the desk and I only do every second Friday, I don't get to know of the other volunteers. I get to know I've the girl in home care, but a lot of them I don't get to know. So when the party comes around, I get to know more of them. But all the full-time staff are lovely. Everybody in the hospice is lovely. Everybody from top to bottom. It's just a wonderful atmosphere to work in, and it's a happy place. It's a sad place, but it's also a very happy place to work, and there's just a wonderful atmosphere here.
Has it had any impact on the rest of your life?
Well, I'd say I don't moan as much about silly things. I come out very happy on a Friday evening. Yeah, I think it definitely, I would be much more patient with lots of things in my life, and I'm much more grateful that I have got through the night. I get up in the morning, I see the sky, and I thank God that I've got through the night, and I'm here today, and I'm going to live this day to the full. And I suppose I would say I'm in the train station waiting, but I'm hoping the train will be very late. So I'm going to live every day because it has had an impact on my life from that aspect. Yeah. I will never stop volunteering here. I don't know if there's an age limit. I don't think there is. I think you can keep going for quite a long time, and I'd hope that I'll be capable of coming here for a long time as well, because I really, really enjoy it. And I would say to people to definitely try it. Yeah, it's a wonderful experience.
Since you've been a volunteer, has there been anything that's happened that's been unusual or out of the ordinary?
Yes, well, I came in one day and there were balloons in the sitting room, and there was lots of lovely food, and there was a wedding going on. One of the patients was getting married to his partner, and their children were involved in the wedding, and the hospice pulled out all the stops to make this such a wonderful day. Now, I wasn't actually on duty for the wedding ceremony, but I believe it took part down in the little church, the little oratory here in the hospice, and then they moved up to the sitting room where there was all sorts of wonderful food and partying going on for the couple, and it just was just a magic day. Beautiful atmosphere, and I mean the hospice pulled out all the stops to make their day wonderful. It was the patient and his partner and their children and their families were here that day. Yeah.
What do people say to you when you tell them that you volunteer for the hospice?
Oh gosh, people will say to me, gosh, how do you work there? It must be so depressing, and how do you deal with death? And it's not like that at all. It's just, I would say to anybody, try it. It's a wonderful place, and they so appreciate the volunteers because they'll say they can't run the place without us. So I would say go for it, try it, you'll love it.